when I took your ticket, it was very bright in the foyer of my home. And then as you came close, then we had dinner, and that was regular light. And then we watched TV.
But as the meal progressed, it got a little bit darker.
But imperceptibly so.
Yeah.
Like the camera going down in Inglourious Bastards towards the floor in that opening scene where you're getting super uncomfortable and you don't understand why. And then you realize you're looking at Christoph Waltz and the other guy's knees. And you don't even remember. You don't remember how the camera got there. And you're like, oh, that's how it's going to be when you come eat at my pigeon assassin house.
Slash farm. It's a working farm.
It's a farm of messages. It really, what it is a museum of tolerance put up by pigeons.
The Pigeon Museum of Tolerance.
Because they've had it. Oh. What really fucked up the pigeons forever was the fact that pigeon killers will switch sides mid-war.
Yeah, they got no
friends.
They've got no honor. They're like, look, I can deal with the fact that you're trying to kill me, but fucking have some
pick a side.
Yeah, have some fiber, man.
Have some moral
fortitude. There you go.
And say, I'm only killing pigeons for the Japanese. I am a Japanese. I kill a sniper, and my specialty is killing American pigeons. And if I see one Japanese...
And then it should be kabuki themed in that sense. That makes sense.
I guess you're right. Yeah. That's why I was in my frontal lobe.
You got it?
Yeah, why is that?
It's weird how shit like that...
But who figured that out? Okay, like when I watch the X Games and a guy does a backflip on a fucking snowmobile, somebody had to try that first. Somebody said, watch this. I'm going to kill myself. What do you mean? I don't want to live anymore. I'm going to jump my snowmobile off the dock onto the frozen lake, and I'm going to go. But then he landed, and everybody went, ooh, cool.
I love that all extreme sports moves could have been potential suicide attempts to begin with.
Yeah, I'm out of here. What are you going to do?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm going to take my motorcycle, and I'm going to drive it off the roof of the house. Okay.
I'm going to strap these fucking pieces of wood to my feet, and I'm just going to go down this mountain. Yeah. I'm just going to push me, and you will never fucking see me again.
But then that one guy just kept landing.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure it out.
He was too good at it. Yeah.
But like somebody had to once go, all right, the radio's broken. We can't use semaphore, like with flags. We can't shout over the sound of gunfire or cannons. We can't send anybody on horse. They'll get shot.
There's a lot of fucking pigeons around here. Do you think it was that? Like, they just fucking...
Yeah, maybe the pigeon, because they fly and they're innocent.
That's what it is. They're innocent.
But then you got to you tie it to his leg. The whole thing is bananas.
It is really bizarre, and the fact that it actually worked. You know, I mean,
all that still works.
I mean,
Mike Tyson claps his hands. Not to obsess, but how do those pigeons know those are the hands? Like, because there's pigeon coops. Apparently, when you watch the documentary, there's pigeon coops
on every rooftop. It looks like above like fucking 50th or something.
So what if Mitch Blood Green just goes up to the roof and starts clapping his hands? Man, fuck Mike Tyson.
Angelo Dundee.
Yeah, Ferdy Pacheco, the fight doctor, is in Spanish Harlem clapping his hands. Why don't those birds take a detour? What if one coop's better than the other? They have no idea.
That is crazy, man. I wonder the actual science behind that of why, and if you could do that with other fucking animals, because I feel like there's cooler animals you could do that with.
Well, you could probably do it with the dog, but as soon as the dog smells food, he's out of there.
Yeah, it's over. Like, he'll make it 10 feet, and then...
Comedically, dogs really fucking crush me every single... Like, just as soon as I said dog, I started giggling like an idiot. I couldn't even get through my own sentence. I'm so stupid. Because I just pictured a war zone and a dog with a fucking... Now it's a... Oh, I'll tell you why. Now it's a big note.
Yeah.
Because now it's like an actual... Like a scroll rolled up and taped
tied
to his leg.
Around the
and you know
dog.
you're going to fucking try to chew the ribbon off his leg.
He makes it 20 feet.
Who said the dog? No. God, these dogs are horrible. Not one message. He keeps biting his own leg.
We should really look into albino pigeons.
What other animal can we use? Use the horse. They just shoot the horse. The horse out.
That's all. I mean, now
it's a sandwich board. the different animal.
How big of a mess? Like, depending on the size of the message, they got to bring in the bigger animal.
I think the animal dictates the size of the message.
Okay.
In my mind, like a dog, you just have a rolled up scroll and you tie it to his leg. And the first thing a dog does, like when you put a sweater on it, they just try to chew it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So dogs are trying to chew that stupid message
Makes it 2 feet out of the trench and just tries to bite it off his fucking leg.
And you're like, go! Somebody go get him. And that guy gets shot trying to push the dog. And you're like, okay, dogs are out. This should be an Monty Python movie. Dogs are out. Send the horse.
Keep trying new fucking animals.
Yeah, so you have like a giant blanket over the horse. with like a message like, "Hey, we need to talk."
Help, please.
Huh?
Help, please.
SOS in giant. And the horse takes 2 steps. They just shoot the horse. Then you send a guy out to get that message. He gets shot. You've now lost a dog, a horse, and 2 men.
What do you go for next?
I would think mice before
You would go
pigeon.
small, right? Yeah.
Mice.
You've done horse, you've done dog.
That would be the smallest message. Little tiny mouse message.
What can you even get on there, man?
I'd probably just an initial. You'd have to come up with some type of anagram for "we're fucked."
You could have a 26 letter code system.
Yes.
Where you could fit 1 letter on each thing.
Yeah, or dot dash, meaning we have a problem. If this mouse gets to you.
Or just teach the mice semaphore, which in my mind, there's nothing greater than a fucking mouse holding like a mini flag. And like
that would be tight.
Yeah.
But he will call attention to himself. If you're in a foxhole looking across the field of battle and you see flags, but you don't see a human being holding it, you think it's a ghost.
If the Hun is about to, if Jerry's about to overtake your trench, you definitely don't want to send a semaphore mouse out there. I agree.
Yeah, semaphore might be the worst invention of all time.
It's pretty fucking dumb.
They can't hear us or see. We're too far away, and we're in a pretty hot battle zone. Let's take colored flags and wave them violently. Just wave them. But here's the thing.
Hi, boys! Like, that's basically the equivalent of
Remember the song Over There?
Yeah,
that song is Over Here. I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm over here. And oddly, that's what every semaphore flag says on the back.
It's the Fighting 101st Spotlight Brigade. Where they just hold giant fucking century lights or whatever just at all times.
You might as well, like, back in, like, the Civil War. Yes, I think they still had bands in the Civil War. But in the Revolutionary War, they had a band. Like, you see them on commemorative plate. You see the guy with the flute and the drum.
Yeah.
And one guy doesn't have an instrument. That motherfucker's holding a flag.
Dude.
Like, he must feel like a dick.
Either that
like, man, throw me a fucking harmonica or something.
Either that,
Is that
or
invented yet?
Little do we know that dude could play the shit out of that fucking flag.
Yes.
Oh my god, he was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, he plays the flag.
Yeah, he plays his flag.
And it's a sound we never know because he got killed. That's why he's on the plate.
He was the world's greatest and last flag player.
Wow. I thought you were going to say he played the shit out of the drum. I talked over you, which is really what I do best.
Yeah,
talk over people.
No worries, I got that going.
Like if he plays the shit out of the drum and he's carrying the flag, and I was thinking of him like looking sidelong at that drum.
Just being pissed at that fucking drummer.
Like, why can't I get the drum?
His uncle was like the general or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, nepotism in action.
I like that, and I like him just fucking going crazy on that flag. And exactly, we don't even know how he could play it or make a noise out of it, but it was amazing.
Well, when a flag in the wind will make a nice snap sound.
That fucking, or you do like the indie whip, like you just that kind of. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a drum machine.
I like
but
that.
Like another
early percussion.
Yeah, another dimension that our ears aren't even. It was so high tech back then. That was high tech. High tech then was like a fucking flute. Flute and a flag was like, whoa, look at Mr. Future. Who's the fancy guy? Whoa, look whose horse got a new saddle, huh? But they had a band. I don't understand how a band. I understand morale. Maybe you want somebody to play The Offspring in between battles to cheer you up.
Nothing better. Nothing better than a little
separated.
Smash. Yeah, I was going to go self-esteem, but...
We're not going to keep them separated. We're going in tonight. We're crossing the river with that fucking pothead George Washington, and we're going to slit their throats in their sleep in Valley Forge.
And hopefully we'll get a nice jam after. I heard the flag players were really on his shit. Like, wouldn't that be great? After the battle, they were all like, all right, everybody bring it in. Chill out, grab a beer.
Maybe we were conquering and invading everybody just to get other people in the band. Like, if we get rid of all these people, we can take their drum guy. And then now suddenly, as you grow in military might, you are therefore by proxy growing in band power.
Your band gets that much better, exactly.
Right. So you win the Battle of Appomattox. Suddenly you got a whole bunch of Confederate drum players and flute guys. Now all of a sudden your band is the shit. And other countries stand in awe. Really, that's what it is.
I think this is how the Stones got started. Exactly.
The Stones were, when we went, let me tell you something. The Stones were almost completely out of business. And when Argentina went to overtake the Falkland Islands, and then England came in and just stomped the shit out of them, like, how the fuck dare you try to take this shit back?
We got sheep here, motherfuckers.
We got sheep. Yeah. That's where they picked up Ron Wood.
He was over in the Falklands.
He was an Argentinian slide guitar player in their army band. And they just sprayed the shit out of that island with missiles and tomahawk. And they were like, whoa, not the slide guitar player.
He was the last one standing, yeah.
They thought he was Keith. And they were like, what's Keith doing over there? Because the hair is very similar, that rooster hair. But then it turned out to be Ron Wood. And that's how you were right. That's how the Stones. I don't know if that's how they got started, but I know that was really.
That was how
and then
Ronnie
right
Wood.
after that, what happens? Steel Wheels. They come out with Steel Wheels. They're back. They're up and running. They're selling out Shea Stadium. It's a fucking Cinderella story.
It's a Cinderella story.
Did you ever work with an animal?
No, in like a professional.
Aside from Bruce Willis.
There were some pit bulls in cop out. There have actually been pit bulls in a few movies I've worked on. Where
But
like
you're like the type of guy.
cholos have
you're
like
stoned,
chains, and
they're like, don't go near the dogs. And you strike me as the guy that's laying down
I'm
wrestling
going
with a blue
near the
pit.
dogs. Yeah.
Really?
That was always my problem. Yeah, I'm also that kid who just pets random dogs in the
I always
street.
do.
Until one day, like crazy German Shepherd, like fucking flipped out at me in the streets. Like I used to be like, oh hi dog, fucking insanity, and the owner got immediately mad at me. I was like, that's the last time I pet a random fucking dog that's associated with murdering my people.
Me and Matt Frost and Mike DiNicola were walking up St. Mark's Place, and I forget where. I think we were going to Peggy Sue's, and there was we were super stoned, and we went to Baskin Robbins. No, it was a Ben and Jerry's on 3rd Avenue, right by St. Mark's Place.
Okay, yeah.
I think so. And we get
I know exactly where it is. It's still there, yeah.
And we got
Astor
milkshakes.
Place.
Strawberry milkshakes were high as fuck. And we got the milkshakes, and we're gonna go get drunk. Oh no, we were going to play ping pong. There was a Korean ping pong place on 25th Street, and we used to get super baked and go play ping pong.
That's awesome.
It was so awesome. And the only American album on the jukebox was Diver Down by Van Halen. So we used to put in like $40 and play that shit on a loop because we didn't want to hear fucking Korean pop music, and it was filled with fucking Korean gangs
people.
and shit. Like it was bad news. And they just pretty much left us alone because they all played pool. We were the only idiots like way too
Running
into
the
ping
fucking
pong.
ping pong table.
It's like, we're high, Koreans. Ping pong's amazing. Senorita, I'm in trouble again and I can't get free. Like little guitars, Big Bad Billy, Sweet William Now, Intruder, Cathedral. We listen to all that shit over and over and over. So we get the milkshakes, and on the way out, we're walking up the street, and 2 doors down, there's a basset hound looking into a store at its owner. It's a basset hound. It's a foot off the ground, 8 inches
That's
off the
fucking-
ground.
yeah, that's not-
big. And I come up behind the basset hound. I'm so high, and I go to pet it. And this thing, from standing, looking into a storefront, somehow does like a complete 180 and leaps at my face, like where his pads are facing my face, like all 4 of them, like a fucking Pokemon. Like Kirby went crazy. And he just got upgraded. Like Dugong evolves into Seal, and he's go, "Arr!" And he goes, "Arr!" And to this day, if you say to Matt Frost, or I think Neil Brennan was with us too, if you say, "Remember that basset hound that scared JJ?" They'll fucking wet their pants.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was like the dog. There was no like growl. It was just wired to fucking kill.
And just the least likely dog that you would think would be a
Right?
fucking killer. Yeah.
He's just sitting there staring in at a fucking yogurt shop at its owner, like,
All droopy and shit. Yeah.
Maybe I could have yogurt one day. I'll probably. Bah! Scared the shit out of me.
That's amazing. So you worked with
I worked with a chimp on one of my first jobs, TV movie with Jason London, Barefoot Executive. They remade the Disney show, The Barefoot Executive.
Okay.
And basically, the chimpanzee helps Jason London get his office work done or something. I'm not sure
Makes
how it goes
sense. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, look, Jason London, chimp. Do you really need a storyline from me here?
I'm there. Yeah.
You're in, right?
I'm there. Yeah, of course.
And that chimp was a mailman bag chimp. He was a hard worker. That's why he got that
He used
job.
to have heirloom lettuce on fucking in between takes and shit. During
between
setups, he
takes.
would just fucking bust out that bag.
But he wouldn't share.
He was a dick. Yeah.
We weren't on the will for the heirloom lettuce.
He was kind of a dick. So you actually got to work with a chimp though. Was it crazy? I've never been around a chimp.
Well, any animal trainer is the craziest person you've ever known in your life. And if you're an animal trainer listening to this, you are a crazy person. Don't go, well, I'm not. You trained a bird to come back.
I went up to it. Yeah.
That means about 400 birds kept going before you figured out how. Oh, I know the frequency to get a bird to turn around and come towards me. Because if you let something free, it goes away. Right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
No, totally. It would only make sense that for every animal trainer and successful animal trick, there's just dozens and dozens of dead animals that didn't.
There's only one thing you need to be an animal trainer. Fanny pack. Filled with treats. And all day long, they go, remember the chimp on Barefoot Executive, his name was Eddie. And all day long, the trainer will go, Eddie, over here, Eddie, Eddie. Oh, and meanwhile, you have 3 pages of dialogue, and this guy's just washing you out. And you realize we're going to loop, which means you record it later. I know, not telling you, I'm telling the listeners. At a later date, you go into a sound stage, and you have to you have to lip sync your dialogue with what the dialogue was in the movie, like, because either a plane went by, or you can hear a gunshot in the background, or a Molotov cocktail. You hear Matt Cohen being mauled